Thank you so much for joining us on Stories by You. I had been dealing with neck issues for years of working at the help desk and really not being so careful with my posture. So once I started turning age 50, I noticed the change in my posture and some of the issues that I was experiencing with my neck degeneration. And the doctor said you need some physical therapy based on your MRIs to get strength in your neck area and also in my lower back. I've always been very active in gym, trying to do my stretches and my normal, weight training and everything else, but never have done physical therapy. So I started going to ATI, and ATI has been really a family for me, and both me and my son go to ATI for about a couple years now. And I found physical therapy at the beginning. I wasn't so sure about it, but it really helped me through getting stronger. Here I am again for lower back issues. They said that I need to see a physical therapist. And I started going in, and the new person there that I come across, Charles Ronan, who's our special guest that works for ATI. I had the pleasure of working with him. He's working with me. I have seen a lot of improvement, not only physically, but for mental health, knowing that I am on the road of recovery. So, for this reason, I thought it's important to bring him in and he can tell us a little bit more about his journey and why physical therapy. If you can tell the audience or whoever is watching a little bit about yourself.
Thanks for having me. Great to be here. I grew up most of my life up here in the Frederick area. I went to undergrad up in Ohio. I went to Kent State, and then I came back home-ish to Virginia for graduate school. And then I found my way back to Gaithersburg to work after that. In terms of how I got into physical therapy, it's a pretty similar story to a lot of people. I played sports, I got hurt. I had to go to physical therapy of my own. And I had different experiences with physical therapists that kind of shaped how I wanted to be as a PT. My first experience with it wasn't great. I kind of had somebody who just went through the motions. They had their own, ABCD template, and they kind of just left me to my own devices for the most part every time I came in, which is okay. I mean, I was an athlete, so I didn't think too much of it, but I didn't think a whole lot of the profession. But then when I had to come back, it was a totally different experience. I went to a different place. The interaction was just much different. It was much more personable, and I could tell they were hearing what my problems were as opposed to just seeing who I was as an injury. And they're like, all right, we're going to do this how you want to be, how you want to get back to it. And it's more personable. And I just felt like it was a much better experience. I got a lot more out of it, and I actually wanted to show up more. So I knew that's kind of how I wanted to be as a PT. Because, I mean, if you don't feel like you're being heard, you're not really getting you're not willing to put in as much into the experience, and you already know you're not going to get as much out of it. So that's kind of how I got into it. Also, just a funny thing, I kind of wanted to learn how to treat myself when I hurt myself in the gym too. So it was kind
Why
of a
not?
little bit of
Yeah,
both.
very good. Yeah, why not? I mean, that's amazing because sometimes I don't know if it's a curse of knowing being a physical therapist, probably your family members. Every time they get hurt.
Oh my gosh, holidays. The first thing is, I've had this thing going on. Yeah, hi, nice to see you too.
Yes. But it's good. I mean, I see you at the when I come in, I see the busyness. I mean, the multitasking that happens all the time in the area. And the location that I go to is not that large, but you guys manage it so well and work together as a group, as a team. So if you're busy, someone else can do the heat or the ice. And I love that about ATI. I know you said why you chose the physical therapy, but how did you study or where did you go to school? If you share some of that with the audience.
Yeah, so I went to physical therapy school at Shenandoah University over in Winchester, Virginia. How I studied was probably pretty different than everyone else. At least for the most part, I wasn't big into group studying just because Felt like there was too much commotion and it was easy to get sidetracked, especially since, in grad school, you're all a family. There's only like 40 of us in the whole year of our program. So in 3 years, you get really close. So I felt to be most productive for me, I took everything home and I gave myself 3 hours after school. I'd study for 3 hours and then I left the rest of the night to do what I needed to do, whether it was go to the gym, make dinner, prep meals, what have you. But it also kind of kept myself from going crazy, feeling I'd have to study through the night and then go to sleep and wake up and do the same thing again.
You're so knowledgeable about the human body. Through physical therapy, I have learned so much about my body. I never knew like the areas, the muscles were, the bones and the things that are just so attached and can impact. Like if you have knee issues, it could really be from your hip or different source of pain and where they're coming from. Just coming to physical therapy, I've learned a lot from that, and I appreciate you guys helping me through it. Why do you think physical therapy is so important for the audience that don't know much about physical therapy or they haven't tried it?
In my own opinion, the biggest part of the importance of physical therapy, everyone should know at least a baseline kind of knowledge about their own body, right? So when something happens, because it's going to happen to everybody, there's going to be a tweak or a pull or what have you, some kind of pain, everyone's going to get it just as we do things from day to day. It's nice to have a baseline kind of knowledge about your body so you know, one, what's going on, two, should I freak out about this? Which usually the answer is no. But, from coming from someone like this has been my entire life is exercise and athletics and what have you. So I've always had kind of a baseline knowledge about my body, but I like to compare it to, say, someone who went into like being a mechanic or something. Usually growing up, they've been doing things with cars their entire life. So they have a knowledge about that, but not everyone else does. The outsider doesn't. So that's why I try whenever someone asks me questions in the clinic, I try to put it in like human terms instead of using the big words because that's not going to benefit anybody. I like to compare it to outside things so it makes more sense. They're on board. They know what's going on with themselves. They know they don't have to freak out. It's a really simple fix for the most part. It's a simple fix. And then, they buy in easier because they don't think it's as difficult of a journey as it seemed to begin with.
That was a great example using the mechanic, knowing that they worked with all parts of the car where, someone like me, I don't know much about cars. And I know when I walk in, a lot of times, I think that's one of the things I told you that I really give you kudos and the people that work at ATI, just the pleasant way of working with the patients. I find that, because you guys are so busy doing so much and multitasking, but you still find ways to smile. Especially you is one of the reasons I wanted to have you on the show, because I find that it's interesting because it's very stressful. You're using your hands, you're talking through it. It's very difficult to see people in pain. So how do you do that? How do you manage to still be able to smile every day?
Everyone I work with, it's a lot of fun, and I know you see it every day. We're all cracking jokes with each other as we're working, but also it's rewarding. Yeah, you'll see somebody sometimes at the worst pain that they have felt ever, but then each day is a new day. You go in. I don't see everybody every single day. They'll come in once, maybe twice a week, but each day's a new day. You can start over. Maybe something didn't work one day, or maybe they felt great for the next couple days and they're so excited to come in that next session and tell you about it. And that just makes it so much better. And you're like, all right, we're headed in the right direction. Let's keep doing this. Or, maybe they feel a little worse or they were a little too sore the next day. You're like, all right, I know what not to do. Let's try this. And usually it works the next time or maybe the time after that. But you know, either what to do or what not to do, and you progress from there.
Sure, and it's a high stress and high pressure type of a job. And I always think if we work together, the patient and the specialist, that we can come together and be pleasant to make that even more the duration of the hour that I have with you to make it pleasant, even though I'm in pain. Is it true that physical therapy can actually help out with our mental health? Can you explain a little bit about that?
We've all felt this. When you're in pain, you're not in a good mood. Like it is the hardest thing to be in a good mood when you're in pain. But when you feel good. You know, when you're not hurting, you feel fine. I mean, not all the time in that regard, but yeah, it definitely there's a direct correlation right there between, you know, if you're in pain or if you're tense or tight or stiff, it you're not gonna feel as good and relaxed and calm and be able to put your mind elsewhere because you're just going to be focused on I'm hurting. This is all I can think about. Like I've had my own experiences with it even before exams during grad school. I've woken up mornings and just had the worst headache or had just killer pain and like my shoulder, my hand, something, and that's all I can think about for the next couple of hours when I'm supposed to be focused on something else. So, yeah, but even when it's kind of funny when you get someone their pain goes down just the slightest bit. Sometimes they don't even notice it until you ask them about it.
Yeah.
You know, I've had patients where, you know, they've been coming to me for a few weeks and they've had some pretty serious pain, but I get them talking about other things during the sessions, you know, one, two, three sessions go by, and then I'll ask about that similar pain from a couple weeks ago. Be like, how's that feeling today? And they're like, huh, it actually feels not too bad today. Like, yeah, all right, sweet. Sounds good. We're headed in the right direction. Let's keep doing that. Or maybe we want to try something else. But
It's
yeah.
awesome. It's an awesome feeling for you. I know when you asked me when I walk in, so how are you doing today? I said, oh my God, whatever you did, it really helped in those exercises. And you're like, yeah, right. And you're like the smile on your face as if it's your body because you know what you're doing is helping the patient. That's such a very a serving type job that you're doing. I mean, that's serving someone to heal. And the reason why I wanted you on the channel too, because is the purpose of the stories of healing, help to encourage people not to be scared of physical therapy, but to give it a try. And let's talk about it's not a magic. Do we want to go there with physical therapy doesn't work just right away? Do you want to touch on that?
Yeah, yeah. So it's sometimes it can be frustrating both for the patient and for the therapist because, you know, I like to let people know on day one, like, look, this isn't a forever thing. We'll be able to figure out, we'll at least be able to bring your pain down and make you stronger along the process. But I feel like sometimes it can be mistaken that this is only for as long as maybe they've been given on their referral. Maybe the doctor puts on like 4 weeks and they think after 4 weeks it's going to be done. And all they have to do is come to physical therapy and that's it. Physical therapy is at home. You don't like I see you 1, maybe 2 hours out of the week. There's a lot of hours in a week. So if that's all you're doing for the entire week, it's not going to happen. I've had to have some kind of frustrating conversations that, you know, there has been some miscommunication and maybe I haven't said this is super super important that you do at home, otherwise not you're not going to see the gains that you're looking for in the time span that you would like. You know, it's not to say that you won't make any progress, but it's going to be really really slow and take a lot longer because there's a lot more you can do and you're just not doing it.
I think you and I
Yeah.
talked about it that this is ongoing. You need to do these at least a couple times a day. And it's hard, but the moment I start hurting, I know, okay, I didn't do my exercises. That's probably one of the reasons. So
Yeah. Yeah, our bodies are pretty cool. They let us know.
love that. And I'm loving the fact that I'm aware of my body. And I guess some people may not be. And then when they get into a tremendous amount of pain and all of this sudden things starts happening, then we're like, what is going on? but little aches and pain, I notice them that I quickly want to make changes and how I can move forward. And thank you to ATI. Thank you to all of you guys for helping out. So the last thing I want to ask, I ask everyone this. If there's any food for thought or any encouraging word for people that are injured or, right now going through physical therapy, what can you tell them?
The biggest thing I guess I want to get across is it's not forever. Um, Especially from my own experience early on. That was so my first experience with PT, like I said, it wasn't great, but something I took from that was my PT did say it's not forever. Every single day is new. You just have to focus on, all right, you wake up that day, you know you have one job, and that's to do your exercises. So it doesn't take that long. Everything you do when they give you to take home with you, it doesn't take that long. And that's the purpose, because we want to encourage you to do it and not discourage you from giving you an hour of stuff to do. But just make sure you're doing something. Um, Obviously, if you're in too much pain, take the day, do it the next day. But if you're able, just do something. Get moving. Any kind of movement. That's why you go to PT, to move. We're not having you sit there the whole time. We want you to move. That's the whole point. So if you're able, do something. Go move. Go walk if you're able, or if you're not able, do some stuff on the couch or in your bed. Any kind of movement, any kind of strengthening, it's going to only benefit you in the long run, and it's going to chip away at that timeline to get back to feeling a lot better.
Thank you so much, Charles, for giving us so much feedback, your experiences, the stories, and I wish you an ATI and great success in your future, whatever you do. And thanks again for serving the community and the patients and all that you do. In case someone is watching and they want to get a hold of you because they have any questions and they really like this video and they want to talk to you, what would be the best form for them to contact you?
Probably my email. I check that the most. It's charles.ronan@atipt.com.
Thank you for the audience who joined us watching this. Please don't forget to subscribe if you find this helpful. Like the video, forward it, share it. God bless and thank you all. Thank you, Charles.
Thank you.